Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to The Notebook. This is a donation reward for Smurf Vlogs, who was a little surprised to know that I have never seen The Notebook. And like I've said in the past, it's like you would be surprised to find out what movies I have not seen. Um, Spoiler alert, it's a lot of them, and even a lot of popular ones. I've never seen Knives Out. I've never seen Brokeback Mountain, or just a lot of other movies. Um, so for future reference, if there's anything like you can suggest anything for future uh, donation rewards. Um, it's very likely I might not have seen it. Um, so yeah. Either way, either way. So yeah, The Notebook. What do I know about this film? I know it's a romance, and I know it's a pretty big, excuse me. I know it's a pretty big one. I don't know like how actually popular it is. I just know like this is kind of the movie people think about when they think about like romance films. So it's kind of got that almost reputation about it, but I don't actually know exactly what people think of it. Like, I never hear people talk about it. I've heard it mentioned in like other shows and movies and stuff, but I never hear people actually give like real thoughts on it in those or just people across social media or whatnot. So I don't know. I do not know. And honestly, without knowing much of anything myself, I don't know what to think going in. Um, so it's hard to say what I'm going to think of the film. I tend to be a pretty romantically minded person. I love romance. I love love. But I surprisingly just have not seen a lot of romance movies, despite that. So it's like, it's kind of always hit or miss when I do see one. Like, will I like it? Will I not? Who knows? um, but yeah, it's like there's always a chance. Um, but yeah, I'm interested to see what this is all about. To see, I guess you could say what the hype is about. Because again, or not really the hype, but more so the what's the word? Reputation's not what I'm thinking of here, but the it's something like that. What that's all about, why it's so well known and so popular, and why it became kind of synonymous with romance films. Um, we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, I'm interested to see this. But as always, for those of you who are thinking about donating, please feel free. There's a lot of movies out there I haven't seen, and honestly, a lot of films I just don't have time to like watch on my own time all the time. All the time. um, like there's that one film I know that came out semi recently. I think that maybe in December. With Vince Vaughn. It's by the same company that made Happy Death Day. Um, it's like a Freaky Friday like movie, I think, except with a serial killer. I know that came out semi recently and everything. The movies I mentioned, like Brokeback Mountain and whatnot, I haven't seen Godfather 2, um, all that kind of stuff. There's plenty of Netflix films I haven't seen. So it's like there's a lot. There's a lot of options. Um, there's still the list on Discord that can be taken from. So yeah, there's choices. If you want to know whether or not I've seen a film, just ask. Just ask. I can tell you very easily. Um, and as I've said in the past, don't just assume whether or not I'm going to like it because you never know. There have been plenty of movies I've reacted to that I didn't think I would like, but I loved, and so on and so forth. Um, just reacted it based on, okay, do you like the film? Would you like to see someone react to it? Just take that into account, basically. um, but that's only for those who can and are willing to, of course. Um, but yeah, we're just going to get this started now and hope for the best with this one. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I want to start off by apologizing for what happened with the first excuse me, the first file I had. Um, I did not intend that to happen. I did not know why that happened. It's just I apologize. There's really nothing I could have done. Yeah, it just I don't know why it was skipping around like that at the end. Like in the last parts, it just skipped through scenes and stuff. But I went back. As you saw, we got to the rest of it. So we saw it all. So this movie is seen as kind of the quintessential romance film. It's seen by many and just people in general. Like the general consensus is that it is the love story in film, more so than anything else. And it's good. It's a good love story. It has its issues though, and I want to cover those real quick. First off, the way that my gosh, his name is escaping me right now, and I don't know why. Noah. The way that Noah first um interacts with her is kind of problematic. Like he kind of forces her into accepting a date by threatening to basically kill himself. He's excessively pushy, excessively just forceful about things. He refuses to accept her saying no to him. And yeah, while it all works out and everything, it's like in real life, like that would be seen as extremely bad. Like that you don't do that. That's not okay. Um so that part was really cringy and hard to watch for me. And on top of that, their relationship, while it's very clear and very obvious that they have strong romantic feelings for each other, it's also very obvious that they're not like exactly 100% a healthy relationship. Because throughout the film, you see they fight a lot, and it makes a point of even telling us that they fight a lot. And yeah, fight. Everyone fights to a point, but the way they fight has came across in the movie as very confrontational. Like they seem to get upset at each other very easily, and it almost seems like their love comes across because of that as an obsessive carnal love rather than actual romance, if that makes any sense. And that's maybe just to me. But outside of those portions of the film, everything else about their love story felt genuine. The other moments where they interacted and everything, the struggles they went through and how they reacted to them, how they reacted to being split up and everything, all of that felt fine. And again, James Garner and Gina Rowlands, who were the older versions of them, were phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. They were, in my eyes, they were the stars of the film. They were the ones who truly owned their roles. And again, that's not saying anything against Ryan Gosling or Rachel McAdams or anyone else in this film, James Marsden even. All the actors did a great job, but those two stole the movie for me. They were perfect in their roles. And honestly, their relationship felt more genuine in their older age, and they felt more romantic and just pure in terms of love than they did when they were younger. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or what, but um, so the general story of this: a country boy who's not what I would call poor, but not too well off either. Falls in love at first sight with a rich socialite girl. They end up becoming extremely passionately in love with each other, but her parents are, very stereotypical rich parents who, like, we don't want our daughter to be with someone like him. She has to marry someone rich. And so they, in order to end up breaking them up, they even leave for New York earlier than planned. And for 7 years, they don't see each other. Their lives go on. She ends up falling in love with another socialite, James Marsden's character. And he ends up trying to fill the void with this war widow named Martha, who, by the way, I'm glad that she found hope again in the end. Because it's like, I felt really bad knowing that, of course, Noah was going to end up with Allie again. And that she was just going to be kind of left to the wayside after having already lost her husband to the war. So it's like, I just wanted justice for Martha. I'm serious, though. It's like, I really genuinely felt bad for her there. But I'm really glad that she did find hope in the end again, through through just her experiences with them. Um, but yeah, the two eventually reconnect, and their passionate romance just goes to an all-time high, to the point where she, during a discussion with her fiance James Marsden, Allie chooses she ends up choosing Noah instead, and everything works out. We find out they end up getting married. They have children, but eventually, old age takes a grip on them. He ends up getting really sick, needing many pills just to stay going, and she gets dementia, starts forgetting who she is, with only needing to occasionally be reminded by Noah, while at the same time being sick herself. And the entire story is told from the point of view of older Noah reading their memories from this notebook, hence the title. And it helps her remember, but only for a short time. And after One night after they had both had medical scares, he ends up going to her room in the hospital. They see each other one last time. She remembers who he is, and they fall asleep together, passing away as they do. And again, the stuff with James Garner and Gina Rowland were the best parts of this film. And I don't know if that was what they were going for. Probably not. But also, when you think about it, they probably intended those scenes, the people who made the film, probably intended that those scenes would come across as like the culmination of everything. That it's like, this is where it's all going. And this pure, unadulterated, beautiful love between two old people that you see is the culmination of everything else you're seeing in this film. So it's meant to be seen as something really emotional and powerful. So yeah, there were some definite issues though. Like I said, the mother kind of flipping in the end and revealing that she kind of had the same situation as her daughter, but then end up revealing that she took the other route, that she went with the rich socialite life instead, made no sense. Because if that was the case, she would have never been the one to be so against her daughter and Noah being together. She would have been the one standing up for them, or at least being more okay with it, rather than the father. The father was more okay with it. He was kind of more in just agreeing with the mother in choosing to leave and everything. It was definitely more on her. So the fact that she was so adamant, so strongly against their relationship when she had that experience herself, it's super hypocritical. And it's like, maybe that was the point, but I don't get that. Because like the point could be seen as like, oh, she became her father or whatnot. Like she said, her father wasn't approving or anything. Um, she became her own father and ended up doing the same thing to her daughter. But like, yeah, that could be the case and everything, having it drilled into her and everything, and her choosing to just accept it. And anyway, it's like it still comes across as really weirdly handled, and just it doesn't feel natural that she would have that reveal. Um, and speaking of reveals, so the reveal of the old people being Noah and Allie really wasn't that big of a surprise. I stated it as a theory early on in the film, like when I noticed the similarities, how Duke and Noah were both had similar personalities, had similar forms of humor, whatnot. And I noticed Allie was wearing similar clothing choices. And the movie, like, I feel like it tried after that point to throw you off because she started wearing other clothing choices in her younger days that like didn't really fit with the theme we had seen up to that point. But I was still kind of thinking that. And then when we see the children come, like again in the future, in the old days, when we see, you know what I mean by the old, when they're older, when you see their children come, and it's like they blatantly say it because Allie blatantly says when greeting them, "I'm Allie." And you could maybe think like, okay, maybe she's projecting from the story and everything, but no, it's very clear what that was meant to be. And then right afterwards, like they basically even say it, like when the children are talking to Duke, they blatantly say like they talk about her as their mother, and we know that that's Duke's children. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of obvious before the big reveal at the end when she realizes. That's more, I feel like that's more of a reveal for the character, and it's a big deal because of her dementia and everything. But it's like it was made very obvious pretty much right away. Well, not completely right away, but early on at least. Um, and yeah, it's just it was an interesting way of handling it. I feel just seeing how that all worked out. Um, and I've seen many movies before where it's like, oh, these people are telling a story of the past and everything. It's like that's happened a lot. Um, but I think it was done well here. It was handled well, and all the characters, like again, they felt like themselves still. Um, which obviously, again, was part of the reason I figured it out so early. Um, but yeah, it's like I don't really think any of the characters were super unlikable except the mom until the end when she just does a 180. Um, Even the father, again, he seemed more okay with things than the mother was, and he seemed more willing to accept things than she was. Although after the 2 o'clock in the morning incident, he was definitely upset there. Um, but I also love how he had like that just super stereotypical like villain mustache and everything, and the cigar when we first meet him. It's like just the first time you meet him, it's just like holy crap, you look like a stereotypical cartoony villain, and it's amazing. Um, but yeah, and like I said, James Marsden's character, he was great. He was a cool guy, and and here's and I already talked about it in the reaction and everything, but it's very clear that yeah, the love between um Allie and James Marsden's character, I cannot remember his name right now, Lon. Their love was real. It very much was real. They truly did love each other. But Allie loved um these names keep escaping me when I don't want them to. Allie loved Noah more. That's what we have to note about it. She loved him more and she loved him longer, and their love was more passionate and just full of life. She did truly love Lon, and that's why she was having trouble near the end with choosing. And that's possible. You can love more than one person like that in real life. It's very possible to have romantic feelings for multiple people. A lot of people like to pretend, like to act like you can only be romantically interested in one person at a time. That's not how romance works though. That's not at all how romance works. Now, of course, if you're together with someone, a partner or a or you're married to someone, then yeah, you should be with only one person at a time. But you that doesn't mean that love for others can't exist. It just means that you've chosen to, well, choose which love is most important to you and which love you most desire. It means that this love is the love you've chosen to make into reality. If that's It's a weird way of putting it, I feel, and it's maybe I'm not the best at describing it. But yeah, it's very possible. And speaking from experience, there have been times where I have had romantic feelings for multiple people at the same time. It happens. You just have to not act on it with two different people at the same time because that's just not okay. You have to choose. And that's what Allie had to do here. Um, but anyways, anyways, yeah, the movie was good. It had some good music, good acting, good scene uh, composition and stuff. It was very well made. Do I think it's the quintessential romance film or anything? Maybe, maybe not. I would have to see a lot more other romance films because, like I believe I said it before in the pre thoughts, Despite being really into that kind of schmaltzy romantic shit, I haven't actually seen a lot of romance films. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy it. Even with the issue that came up near the end there, I did very much enjoy it, and I think it's a worthwhile film to see. It's not like you have to see it. It's not the best movie ever or anything, but I think it's something that is completely worth checking out. And I'm glad that you suggested it, Smurf. Thank you for choosing it as your donation reward. And again, if you have any other suggestions, don't worry about whether or not you think I'll like them or whether or not whatever else. It's like you never know with me. I've liked plenty of things I didn't think I would, and I've hated plenty of things I thought I would love. So, and just as some ideas for anyone else as well, just I mentioned some before. La La Land, I haven't seen, going with another Ryan Gosling romance flick. Um, and there's a lot of other stuff. Jeez, Godfather Part Two is one I've never seen. There's that again, that Vince Vaughn movie from the makers of Happy Death Day, and just a lot else. There's a lot of other stuff here and there. Um, but yeah, you could suggest anything. I'll let you know if I've seen it or not. You could even suggest multiple like ideas, and I'll tell you which of them I might have seen or which of them I might not have or whatever. Just feel free to suggest anything. Again, only if and when you can donate. If you can't, if you are having your own money troubles, it's not a requirement. Don't feel like you need to. It's completely optional, and I'm not going to try and force you or anything into it if you can't do it. Only donate if you can. And any donation, no matter what, will get you a reward, no matter how much you donate. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you again to Smurf Vlogs for choosing this as a donation reward. I apologize, Smurf, for the issues we had there near the end. Um, but yeah, we got it figured out. I should have just gone with YouTube from the start. I don't know why I didn't. Well, I know why I didn't, but I don't know why I was thinking like that more. Either way, yeah. Tell me your thoughts on the notebook down in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.